Hey guys, in today's video we're going to learn how to make this beautiful corporate wear. That's a sweetheart neckline with a yoke and a turtleneck, a sleeve and a kind of falling off shoulder sleeve. So let's head straight to it. Firstly, you'll be needing your basic bodice front in full. I have my basic darts, which is my waist dart, and of course my side bust dart, and my neckline is in the basic because it's going to be a turtleneck. Is going to have a turtleneck. In basic, I mean the depth is 3 inches and we remove 2.5 inches from the shoulder. Now from the depth, which is 3 inches, I'm going to determine how deep that very black one, which is the sweetheart neckline, is going to be coming from. I used 3 inches. I'm going to be connecting this to this part of the armhole. Right, there's no measurement for the armhole area, okay, just at the part that is lower, the lower part of the armhole. So I made sure it also came out at the other side, right? And I'll flip this open so we can see what it looks like. I'm correcting everything that needs to be corrected, and I haven't done that. This is what we're having. So now this is our sleeve. I'm going to have to label front and back. So we're going to be attaching the sleeve at the very tip of the shoulder of the front bodice like this to enable us get that very falling off shoulder sleeve. All right, so that is what we are trying to get now. I'm going to be ticking this like so. Sorry, I'm gonna have to attach the sleeve to the bodice and following very much that very part. As you can see, I've decided to mark like this where the sleeve is going to be. I attached the fresh pattern paper here, but trust me, that very fresh pattern paper is not needed. It's not necessary. You don't even need it. So I'm going to be using my tape to determine how wide I want that sleeve to be. And of course, I used 3 inches. So I'm going to be squaring that 3 inches line all the way like so. And from here to here is 3 inches. So this is what we're having right now. So I'll be using my scissors to take off the very part that will do. Like I said, that very fresh pattern paper I added was not even necessary. You don't need it. So I'm taking it away right now, and I'm detaching the sleeve from the bodice. I'm detaching the sleeve from the body since we have gotten the off shoulder sleeve. Okay, so now I'm going to be cutting open that sweetheart neckline area part of it. Like I'm going to be detaching the yoke from the main bodice, something like that. So I'm going to have to detach it, and this is what it looks like at this point. All right, so I'm setting the sleeve aside because we are going to be needing it for the back also. Now this is what this looks like. If you watch from the picture on top of the screen that we are recreating, you find that the waist dart was not stitched. All right, look very well, pay attention to details. It was only the side bust dart that was stitched. So that is what I'm trying to do now. We are going to be cutting open the side bust dart, and I'll go ahead to tape down my waist dart so we can close it. We're trying to close the waist dart. So here also, I'm going ahead to open the waist dart. All right, then I'll cut open one part of the side bust dart. Please watch closely. I did not eliminate the whole dart of the side bust dart, but I'll be doing that later. And then I went ahead to tape close the waist dart. All right, so I haven't done that now. This is what it looks like, and I went ahead to cut open the rest of the side bust dart, as you can see. So this is how much that excess we have after we've closed up the waist dart and transferred it to the side bust dart. This is how much excess we have. Okay, so that is the part you're going to be sewing on your fabric, whereas the waist dart is going to be closed, so that place is going to be plain, and you've transferred the dart. So when you sew, you have something like this. All right, so that is it for the front, but don't worry, we'll come back to explain the stitching process. So let's go straight to the lower part of it, which is just very simple, just the basic. So for the lower part of it, or the skirt part of it, or the lower bodies, which are going to be joining to the upper bodies, you're going to be just opening your dart and then stitch it up. But then if you're using a fabric that is so much stretchy and you do not want to sew up the dart so that it does not have this, so it does not have this pointy effect. Sometimes you sew your dart and it have this pointy effect. If you know your fabric is going to do that, just eliminate the whatever from the side, eliminate the darts from the side. So heading straight to the back, we're going to be using the sleeve now. Same thing we did to the front, and attach it here. All right, And so from the basic neckline of the back, we're going to be determining the depth. So I marked the depth of my neckline, and I'm going to be connecting it following the very part of the off-shoulder sleeve effect like so, just to make sure it has a good rounded effect, right? Something like this. So this is what it looks like. You see that very extra pattern paper I added to the center between the sleeve and the armhole. Between the sleeve and the armhole is not needed, okay? So also the 3 inches, which is the wideness of the off-shoulder sleeve, I also went ahead to dictate it. And of course, this is all we need to do for the back. Then I went ahead to cut open the waist dart for the back, which you're going to be sewing up on your fabric, okay? And then I'm also going ahead to detach the sleeve from the back, and then I'm going ahead also to cut open or to detach the yoke from the main bodice like so. So this is all for the back, all right? So do not click away. We are going to be learning how to get that step by step or step effect that is on the sleeve, all right? So we're going to be cutting that. For the back lower bodies, or for the skirt back or whatever, the back lower bodies that is going to be attached to the upper bodies of the back, just like I explained to the front, you either sew up the dart or you eliminate it from the side if you know your fabric is going to bulge when you sew with that. So now let's head straight to the sleeve, all right? I'm going to be tracing out the whole of that off-shoulder sleeve effect. I'm going to be tracing out the whole of that off-shoulder sleeve, okay? So if you have a tracing wheel, you can use a tracing wheel, or you can use your pen to, shade it so that it can show or transfer the shade to the other paper. So here I'm completing the whole thing, and this is what it looks like, all right? So I labeled front and back, and I'll go ahead with my scissors to cut out so we can have this very sleeve, off-shoulder sleeve only. That is what I'm doing right now. So at this point, this is what is looking like. Now at the center, we are going to be dictating the center. You want to rule a line downward from the center. And of course, I'm going to be cutting open that very center. Now on a fresh pattern paper with my tape, I'm going to be marking 5 inches. And I'm using my pen to indicate where the 5 inches started and where it stopped. And with my ruler, I'm going to be squaring this line down on both sides like so. Here and also here. Now the reason for this 5 inch is so that that sleeve is going to fall. If you look at the picture at the top of the screen, that off-shoulder sleeve is falling. It's not firm on the arm. It's falling, all right? It's not firm on the arm, it's falling. So the reason for that 5 inches is so that it falls away from the basic sleeve, all right? It falls away from the basic sleeve. So that is why we attached that. That we made that 5 inches effect, all right? You can decide to make yours 6 inches, but don't go overboard. I think 5 to 6 inches should be okay. So now we are going ahead to retrace, and this is now our new sleeve. So do not click away. If you watch closely, pay attention to the details, you'll find out that there is this step effect on the sleeve. It's not just plain. We're also going to be learning how to do that right away. So I'm going ahead to cut this like so. So now this is what the new sleeve looks like, off-shoulder sleeve looks like. Okay, so now we're going to get that step effect. You're going to get a fabric and you'll be cutting out 3 straps like so. I think these 3 straps should be 2 inches or 3 inches. So by the time you fold over, you'll be having 1.5 inches, then ½ inch for your sewing, leaving you with 1 inch. All right. So now I'm going to be folding over like so. All right, I'm going to be folding over like so. So we're going to be folding it over like so. And you want to place this here like so. Please watch carefully. You see the part we have placed. You're also going to be folding this over. All right. And you want to lift this a little and sew this inwards in such a way that the very last one is going to cover what you have stitched. This very last one is going to cover your stitches. And as you're stitching, use your steam iron to give it a neat press so it laps very well. And then for the last one, you're also going to be stitching it inwards like so. Now, after the stitching, you can decide to use your needle and thread and hand tack it or hand stitch some part of it to hold it firmly. You want to flip it over to the back now, and you will sew on top of that very particular main sleeve. All right, you will sew at these sides just to hold it in place, and then you cut off the excess. Please, I hope that's understandable. Then you cut off the excess. Now, when done that, now you flip it around. So this is what we are having. Like I said, use your needle and thread to tack down some parts you feel like they are not firm on that foundation part. So you're going to be stitching these parts. Please, I used my tape to hold it down because it's moving around. You're going to be stitching those parts so it comes out nice. Now, someone might be wondering, how are we going to be finishing this to give it a neat finish? You have to cut out a lining. Now, your lining is going to be the same thing as this very white one. All right, your line is going to be the same thing as this very white one, this shape. That's what your line is going to be like. Just like the way you sew and turn over, you place your lining here, sew it and turn it over, and sew on that one. And by the time you sew, you're going to be turning over at this part because that part is going to be stitched to the armhole of the dress. I hope you understand that. So I haven't done that now. We are going over to the stitching part of it. First thing you want to do is to sew up your side bust dart like so. So assuming this is your fabric, you're going to be sewing up your side bust dart here like so. Also, same thing you're going to be doing to the other side. You want to also sew up your side bust dart on the other side. And I haven't sewed up your side bust dart on this side. Next thing you are going to do now is to get the yoke part of it, and of course you're going to be attaching the yoke part of it. You want to start from the middle, lift your footer, put in the needle, and then sew it all the way around like so first. Then you take it out of the footer, go ahead and sew up the other side. All right, and after doing that, this is what you're going to be having for the both sides. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. So the next thing, remember, you're going to be attaching, you sew up your waist dart, or you eliminate it from the side and then attach it together to this part. Okay, same thing also you're going to be doing for the back. All right, which is actually simple. Now for the sleeve, on your main sleeve, you want to sew up this part like so first. All right, you want to sew up this part like so first, and then you also want to sew up this other part onto this very one like so. Sorry, I didn't know I took this so high that my camera wasn't filming it. Okay, it's better now. You're going to be sewing it on this part. You see that very opening? That is that fall over we are talking about. That very opening is that fall over that we're talking about. Is that very dropping effect. So this is what it looks like. I hope you guys understood everything I've explained. If you have any question, drop it in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye.